Alrighty, so we're going to talk while I'm in the shower before my cyst excision going on at my dermatologist. Normally they clear right up. I rarely ever get them. This is actually like the first one in like over a decade or some shit, so whatever. Super great. Anyways, but taking a shower, called to confirm that I have a ride, using my insurance to get there. It's state insurance called Access, so there's that. I was thinking about like this toroidal engine that I had, and so I have to explain this, I guess, again for people. But it's like it's not really a torque converter, but it kind of is. So there's hydraulic fluid that travels inside of a hollow tube arm, and there's two of these. Well, it's a good way to put this. So it's a tube within a tube, and so it then flares out kind of like an hourglass, but towards like where the intake manifold is. Which the intake manifold, it's like, okay, so the spinny part of the center, because there's two halves there, has gears that rotate, and so like those will then counter rotatively have a clutch that will slowly spring out and then add its own rotation, okay, for the outer part in to that center, because gears, right? So it spins out, but it's doing the opposite because gears are there. And so like then it'll hook on, and then that will add on to the gears. And so like same thing for the rear, because there are two counter-rotating halves of this toroidal engine. They are effectively, for the donut part, the toroidal actual like compressor, combustion chamber, cylinder stuff. Those are like halves. So, like you can usually make two-piece sized heads for like an engine. Kind of a similar kind of thing. It's just gonna like gurk, and then they're done. and, it's a real smart aleck kind of approach, I guess, is what someone's saying out there. But it's that you bolt them down. You make sure the bolts are very closely weighted. You go up to 1,000,000 RPM is what I have it set for. There's a reason why I was like, so people probably don't know why I said and claimed I got to like the moon using this. It's 49 cc's. And I'm like, yeah, no. So, okay, so it's like 3-inch intake manifold, straight up. Okay? Right? And then there's a foot of this actual, connecting arm, and there's 12 of them. All right. 49 cc area, of course, for the toroidal actual combustion zone. Now I have my rocket injector, so it's like they're effectively pushing air and fuel together into a little chamber, and then they blast them constantly, and then they exhaust out the outside. So center, air intake, exhaust outside, super simple. This has a hollow, hub that acts like, once it goes through this little rear part here, which is kind of like a parabolic spike. That's what I talked about. So it's like that, wait for it, because like there's a center of these two counter-rotating things, and they have their own gears and bearings and blah 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 and seals and gas seals. We know about the seals, but they have holes in this, and so like then they have the little manifold area, which then has like the hole for like the arms that are hollow, that are all the connecting rods that go up into the toroidal area. But they're sealed, and they're allowed to go around that, of course, because like there are holes, okay. But what that means is that those holes rotate, which is fine. I don't care if it does a zigzag. It doesn't matter to me. A good way I've already described that my toroidal engine, so you might want to like go look up that one video. But the basic premise is like there's a seal on either end. That also helps with the whole clutch thing and bearing setup sort of seal stuff. But that's why like hydraulic fluid, which is what I'm using to cools the other hydraulic fluid that's inside of the arm and then goes up to the housing, or the engine block housing for the donut area, that has to stick to that and then goes around this. And so like that's also why there's a like an actual shaft, like an axle that goes to the flywheel and clutch setup, that goes through, because that's easy enough to seal. But it's like it just simply goes around and then goes through stators in the center, and then because those are counter rotating. So, and those stators, those are regular water cooled. So like imagine that they're hollow, because they are, and so you're gonna have to do that. So first and foremost, you're wrong. They're hollow. Just think you're wrong all the time. Anyways, liquid water goes through that. All right, and then like, because if you look at the top where the little arms are, and just like I'm going to describe the manifold area here first, and then you'll be able to understand the top part of the engine housing and why it is that water will be able to escape through that, go through a water to air radiator, heat exchanger, whatever you want to call it, for intercoolers or something or another. But it doesn't matter, because to me it's like, whatever. They're all just exchanging things via convection and some conduction. This is stupid. Anyways, as it rotates, the central, little tube with all the fans and shit, which there are fans that have to support this, okay, with a hub that's there. So it's like I might as well make them scoopy fans with holes that then go off into the holes on the outside, or the inner diameter to the outer diameter, that then go into like the little intake manifold. Anyways, that allows for moments where there are like, these crossing areas for the hydraulic fluid to go through, and then it'll go back up, right? Because like they're hollow. There's the centripetal forces that end up interacting, and then you have the centrifugal, because they're like wider at the base and they get thinner, and then they go back to being wider to where the donut is. And what that means is hydraulic fluid, as it goes up, it goes back in, it goes back up, and it goes back in, and then that'll spin faster, this little thing for clutch there, that then will deposit, like a torque converter is what I called it, but it's not technically really a torque converter. So like there's that. You know what I mean? It's more like, well, because of the way it bent the fluid, it creates like a solid, because it's, non-compressible fluid, creates surface tension, kind of like a spring. And then it acts, because of where it's pushing it onto the hubs, like the fan area, and then that's still connected to, where the thing's moving, for the outer hub, manifold thing. A continuous increase of lever. Okay, so it's double the lever. So it's like that foot now has become two sides. There's one side and another side, so it's not all connected to one. Think like a double figure eight that passes nearby each other. Okay, and so like what that means is that one side and another side are both doing that on one arm, and there's 12 of them, and there's 12 on the other one, so 24 total. Now, it's not going to act as if I have 24 times the lever length. That's not what's going on. And the only way it works is if it spins up and then the clutch adds it, which is why the clutch is there. And the internal hub spins separately, which we'll get to first, and then that sucks in air with this little kind of like a diamond teardrop shape, kind of like scramjet. So it's like it's got this little ram air, goes into that, and then sucks it in, blows it off to the sides, kind of like a turbine, and then that goes off into a little ring thing. I don't want to get too far into it, but that's also where like little stators are, and so that's also where water to air, and that'll go off into where the other stators are in the center, between the two counter-rotating, and then you see the parabolic spike, it goes out, and it curves back in, gets sucked, and then it gets turned by the stators that are there, and then the other counter-rotating then, takes that and then turns it into a more compressed, faster moving, cooled air. And then that gets drawn in through the other, compressor, well, depending on how it ultimately needs to do it, either towards its front, and so it'll blow it, or towards its rear, and it'll just capture it and then recirculate the air and produce a compressor-like advantage. But, of course, there is exhaust, and the exhaust does spin up that compressor using axles, and whatever's left over after that, of course, gets sent to the crankshaft. Okay? Alright, so this has that little pair of, so it's just going to slip through that. There's the right, you'll have to go through that in the past, but the basic is there's effectively like gear areas and bearings effectively in the hollowed area, and then it's able to separate the water versus hydraulic fluid on the outside, and so that way it allows for those moments where like it technically allowed for it to sort of like have to just extend. Now granted, a good way to put that is like they're connected in these other sealed areas in between that little manifold, but then they have to travel and bifurcate, and they go up and over and then back up, right? Or they're fully directly in line, right? And so it's always going to keep getting fed pretty decent air. And then the little center part, of course, allows for air to go through. There's like little stators there that I use to hold that little hub there, and that's, of course, running water, fluid through it, and then it goes off to the housing, and then counter rotation, that's a pump, okay? As they spin, there's moments that they get pushed outwards, and then it gets sent to the water to air intercooler. Alright, real fast and simple, easy. Anyways, as it goes out the rear, I didn't cap it because it was like, well, then these arms can easily just be turned the right way, and then now it's like a freaking compressor in its own right. So that makes it more efficient as a supercharger because it has to spin anyway, so might as well use that. And then it's like, well, here's an exhaust that then turns into compressing air work energy. So it's like compresses up to this PSI and then maintains that, and then once that does that, all the rest of it just goes off into a clutch that then dumps it into the clutch flywheel area, so that way I don't have to worry about any of that. So work energy directly from exhaust. And then it's just like, here's this attachment that already had, there's got to be a bearing there, like a bearing, gear or whatever on the housing, so that way they don't just fucking fly off. So it's like, here's your alternator if you want it there. You know what I mean? Like, easy enough. Like, the waste heat generator, granted, which is the, standard thing that I always seem to do, because it's super easy. It's just like piezoelectrics, here's a vacuum, here's heat, and then diaphragm, and then stretchy piezoelectric diaphragm, and then piezoelectrics inside of like copper or some other aluminum, whatever it is, right? Composite, and then the right leads to, rectify, circuit all the series and parallels of that into like one singular consistent voltage, and so on, right? If you want it to be AC or DC or whatever it is, and then battery, supercapacitor, whatever, or just straight alternator is. But then you don't always have that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you have to run it. So it's like, here's the alternator, but if you don't really ever need the alternator that much and you're going to drive a lot, then you can just use like, here's my work energy. I didn't siphon as much work energy back into directly the crankshaft, instead into UK. You know what I mean? Like, super kind of simple stuff. But whatever. I never really get too far into it because it's just like, well, anywhere you want electricity, just use it. Just use that. Just whatever one, I don't care. But it very quickly turns into like, alright, so we're done with that basic kind of concept, right? And it counter rotates, and it's like, right, but it's now like, let's say it was that foot, I have 3 feet. And it's like, that's how I got around the displacement problem for torque. It's like, lever yokes! Yeah! Torque converters! physics allows for more force to be applied the further distance it is. Torque! 49cc area, you know, like the toroidal actual combustion. But then it's like constant, very high pressures and 1 million RPM. Because rocket injectors, you know, like air fuel, that kind of thing. I like talking fast because it's like, you probably want me to say I'm manic and everything, but you probably won't even listen if I don't do large amounts of more energy, posture. For hours on end, and then I'm fucking so beat and tired forever. 12 hours sleep, here I come, because I decided to do an 8-hour recording. And I should have stopped myself, and nobody even listened. Oh, hurts me in the soul. Anyways, moving on. Basic toroidal stuff, but it's perfectly balanced, which is kind of the reason why. Like, I might be able to get away with it, right? You know, the bearings are gonna travel 1-to-1, whatever that is, but it's a whole other fucking kit and caboodle, because it's like, well, I need hydraulic fluid that runs through that, so like that's the hydraulic fluid that cools the hydraulic fluid that runs through that, because you're gonna need that as a bearing. And then like the top and bottom part of the internal, like, it goes up, it goes over, and then it has like a little top hat area, so it'll slide in, and you can then have that sealed, so that way it rests within inside of that pressurized hydraulic fluid that's lubricative and being cooled. So exhaust allows for it to be exhausted in certain areas, right, along the sides from the 12 and 6, which you can't do, but it does like 11 and 1 all the way down to 7 and 5. And like that's a nice little bifurcation, then it goes out, and then that spins up that, and then that spins up another thing, counter-rotating. Those are connected to an axle, and then I have the one, bigger, longer kind of, off to the side that's laid flat instead of, vertical, and then that's an equaling to, it doesn't matter, I already talked about it. But the reason why it was like, so basically I have 3 feet of torque in 12 total constant repressurizing chambers that I burn so much of the fuels. It's basically me and fuel with like a spacesuit that's pressurized and got like liquid in it, so that way like I can stay alive in high altitudes. And it's got a nice little heater exchanger with my engine. Yay, this is nice and warm, yay! It's so cold! It's insulative, materials regardless, and it's fully pressurized and sealed to the environment around it. But still, it's like, it even has electromagnetic coils throughout all the little, areas, so that way, like, it creates its own sort of electromagnetic field effect. So, and some light, little miniature fiber optic light areas. And so it's like, yeah, I have light pressure and electromagnetic fields. Don't come near me, you bastard ass and Jesus Christ, these charged particles and radiation. You damn motherfuckers. And then I have a whole solar sail shield that's sail, as in not cell, sail. So it's a football field size rollout, and then there's these weather balloons carry up this stuff, and then there's like a big old tearing like a Velcro. I have to hook into that, and then as I fly back through the atmosphere, and once I get up to orbit, there's a whole bunch of experiments and tests before any of that even happened. Like, over a year of doing this shit before anything even went down. And then it was like, time to do it. This is terrifying. It's a good thing we have very vertical and takeoff and landing over. Very vertical? Yeah, it's over vertical, basically. So it'll go over 90 degree into that 110 area, so that way like I can land while I'm facing that way instead of rearwards, because like that's terrifying as fuck. I've got, you know, the little wheels that then scoop up to the sides, and then, you know, all that, and they have to be not air. There's no air that I'm allowed to have. So it's like they're actually air pressurized, sealed, but then I don't need the air in there for them to work. But you know what that means? Those are my extra air tanks, effectively, to start my engines once I get up to like altitude. Because like they'll still rotate. I have like this, because you know they're props, so it's like this engine spins up, but then I have like, you know, actual, you know, wings that have like the little underarm thingy strut wing thing, and then like a little wing underneath that, and another little wing on. So I figured out that that's a thing, and then they have to curve slightly, you know, out and then backwards, so they have to go like like the opposite of an N. You have to have like a U that's very subtle, and then it has to go backwards. And you have to have these little, you know, pointy whale fin bump areas, and then you have to do like these little stators on there, and then like sucking in air areas in between that. And you're like, what? Huh? And it's like, yeah, no. All just for aerodynamic efficiencies with altitude, to increase lift and reduce drag and suction of a greater area into my engine and my props. Which is this, like, here's my exhaust that goes off into the props. Not a joke. It's, instead of vertical takeoff and landing, it's like, this is just going to be me really going for it, and then once I get up the lift, really just go! I'm laden down with fuel, my stupid fucking thin ass I barely ate for a long time to really curve weight on this bitch. Everything's as little as weight as possible with the strongest material. This bitch better get there. If it doesn't, I'm super dead. That's literally what it was. Anyways, super sealed engine. Now the reason why I have it is because it's electricity, you know, and because it spins, that electricity means I can turn a massive current, all right, which then turns into plasma for the exhaust and the oxygen and the hydrogen I had to use once I get up there. It's like oxygen comes from, you know, air and water that I HHO'd. And so like there's also hydrogen there. It's then lots of cooling, lots of pressure, the right freaking vessels that don't have a stupid leak in them, no superfluid problems. And like vacuum insulations and stuff, and oh my god, I'm strapped to a bomb, freaking out. As I run regular hydrocarbon to just dump and to have like a tank that I can then use as like extra as I'm going through, because like even though it's hot on one side, as you get up to a higher atmosphere, you get colder, and so like with the right IR mittens and, you know, convection, I'm able to then use the compression of my engine because I can just shove in the air and fuel and run super lean with the hydrogen and oxygen, and then I'll burn with hydrogen from the prop area that'll suck in more. And so like it's all like how much, you know what I mean, like I'm gonna suck in air for the so it's combining fuels. Eventually it was like hydrogen peroxide works pretty well. I'll get extra oxygen. Here's what is this, ethanol? Fucking ethanol, fuck it, I'm gonna use ethanol. And what's this plastic? I can stick plastic to this ethanol apparently, and like they'll combine, and then they'll just be like a fuel oxidizer combo if I make it the right amount with air around. And so it's like, how many hydrogen peroxides to ethanol do I need for ethanol to burn? And that one was easy because it's a 9-to-1 ratio for air. And it's like, well, actually, how many oxygens does it need to burn the ethanol completely? And so it's like, that's how many oxygens come off the hydrogen peroxide. And so then that one turned into like how I had to figure out like stupid hydrogen peroxide and then do this really dangerous, so don't do this. It's like I can combine it, but then it's like, then I need to do this separatory and then combining. So it's like separate off the ethanol and then use like the right charge separation and magnetics, electromagnetics and charge differences as I have a catalyst around that allows for it to then combine more into with the little stupid plastic polymerization garbage. And, you know, level them effectively in a series of chains, and then I had to like structure it so that way it'd still make a liquid instead of like this solid plastic. And so it's like, okay, so I have precipitated out what is effectively a bomb. I need a liquid. And then it was like, all right, so what fucking hellish bullshit is a liquid from this plastic? How do I turn plastic to a liquid? So I had to look up that fucking nonsense for polymerization liquids, of which there's very little studying material to do. So it's just like, I guess I'll wing it. I got lasers out, I got like the sunlight, and then it had coherent beam lens stuffs with 2A lasers and fiber optics and like, you know, lenses along the sides of a tube with 2A mirrors there. All to allow for a coherenting of a particular light that I've needed. And with the coherent beam then oscillating and reflecting in a destructive and constructive photonic array that combines into a singular with the fiber optics and lenses beam at a focal length that I needed to be very specific, and it needs to be very high energy, but it can't be burning energy. So it's like, I can't make it too dense, but I need it to be very thick, like amplitude, or luminance, or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it can't be thin, it needs to be dense, but I can't make it heat things up, so I need it to do not that. And so then it turned into this weird, freaking stupid, like superpositional garbage that I had to figure out with polarization collapsing physics. And that was like a fucking endeavor and a half to figure out. It's like, how do I polarize in a fucking chiral helical spiral thing? And I need it to be like an asterisk pattern too. This is a fucking shit show. I wish I knew chemistry. I don't know any chemistry. This is bad. It would have been so much easier with a literal catalyst of any kind. Light is my catalyst. Free the sun gives. Anyways, I figured it out eventually. And so I made this laser, and like during these periods of time I was able to use it. So like that was the only time I could use my laser catalyst. Yeah, sucked, man. It was like, alright, so now I need to vibrate it in a very particular manner with charge fields around. And it's like, why do you have charge fields everywhere? Because they make the catalyst work better with the vibrations. And you're like, nuh-uh, that's not how that works. And it's like, yes, that's actually exactly how that works. Get out of here. Like, so vibrations, and when they vibrate with the frequency of the light I use, and then the charge field, you know, pulsing in that area, it then will suddenly rip the ethanol, but then other, you know, hydrogen peroxides combine to the ethanol. And slowly over time, I had a puddle of ethanol, and this way denser liquid that might as well be like an oil or something. You know, it's such a weird little freaking polarized bullshitty fucking liquid. Super non-carcinogenic. That was nice. I tested that one. I was like, is it acidic or anything? No, it's not acidic. I don't like looking at it though. It's like a bomb liquid. It's super stable. That's nice. Is it though? Well, you know, I wouldn't drop it. You know, this is me talking to myself. It's always on the ground, put away in a safe, just over there. There's like a whole bunch of like freaking vents off to the, like this huge voluminous area and a bunch of like very, very, you know, flame retardant material that's cooled if anything needs to happen. It's like, there's that. Super nice, you know. It's dangerous as fuck, though. Anyways, stuck it into my, with the hydrogen and oxygen I was using, my fuel tank. So it's like I made a spongiform like material, a stretchable steel, basically. It's not really stretchable per se. It is actually. Anyways, point is, it's like the rigid structure. Take your penis, if you have one, or a clit, or any of that. It's like, whoa, what? And it's like, that's a spongiform material. As blood fills it up, it becomes stiffer and larger. Well, just imagine it was fully engorged, and that's that. That's there. But you know what? The rest of that material that fills up, I can fill that up with fluid, and now it's separated in the best way possible for my fuel cells here. Because if I undulate it the right way, squeeze it, because it's able to be squeezed. With my hydrogen peroxide, ethanol, bomb fluid. And like, what? Okay, first and foremost, cool, like, idea of using natural light as a laser, but what is the actual wavelength? Oh, so this one was a combo of ultraviolet and IR with microwave. That would superpositionally collapse into a weird separational charge field difference once it interacted with the correct charge fields that I was aiming for. And the material I was trying to excite during the moments of the charge field that I was having pop up there during the vibrations that orientated and corralled all of this material in this reaction flask vessel. They weren't really particularly known, as my funds had dried up already. So I was like, I know that's ultraviolet. It says it's ultraviolet. It makes stuffy glow. That's microwave, because that heats up, and that's IR too. You know, so that's definitely that. That's easy to figure out. Here's carbon, here's water. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that works. The vibrator was my oscillator that, I had been able to purchase. With some slight reprogramming of its microchip. That way it forcefully maintained a given oscillational frequency. I then had a rotating version and then a up and down version. Two of those then allowed for me to really corral it into like this very specific type of interaction profile. And then charge fields are, here's a tube that rubs in glass and make charge field difference. And correctly doing that at these RPMs, which were nowhere near the side, like I just like 10 to 22 RPM was more than enough. Like just, at the right kind of like frequencies, and it worked just beautifully. So, these are bomb things that will bullshit. There's no... Yes, you should cool this like I did the first time it exploded. Oh, really? Under pressure. Yeah, you're going to want a lot of pressure and a lot of cool. Like really cold. Like, do you have a refrigerator? Rip it out, cool this fucker with the refrigerator. Get a bigger heat exchanger if you can. It's worth it. Anyways, that worked out. Okay. But, it burned beautifully as its own accelerative liquid propellant. But then it was like, here's more air. I was like, I don't need the air. I have liquid propellant. Oh, right, yeah, no, that's only for the higher altitudes. Let me get that fucker. Some standard hydrogen peroxide, which I already described how to do that in Get to Space Cheaply, my video. And then ethanol, we all know there's a still stuff, so, like, that's fine. And then that was easy. And it was like, right, and then brrr, to the upper atmospheres we go. Anyways, it compresses it, it condenses. We use a filter to get rid of any nitrogen dioxides, so on and so forth. Or nitrogen oxides, not dioxides, moving on. So I get ozone, I separate it because electricity to O2s. It's cold enough to, with the pressures and the condensing of the cooling and so on and so forth, because evaporation of fuel allows for a, helping of that cooling for my tank as it undulates. Gives me fuels. Which, by the way, helped out the wing thing. So, like, the undulation of the wing stuff, even though it's hollow in some areas, it's very rigid in others, and then I'm able to slide it out as gimbaling for the two big boy props, like huge old purples, with these different turbines I've already talked about, for the Jules Thompson, whatever, it's a Lemke turbine, basically. With stators and their props, so it's bigger prop at the front, smaller prop in the rear, better bite angle. The exhaust goes through the turbine, but then also comes out from stators nearer to this little, what do they call that again? Right, these are stators, and so it's like a nozzle, and so it's a bell end with an arrow spike that has a bunch of stuff on the inside, and it has to be cooled using the propellant after a certain point, which is really just fuel that burns, because I have heat and pressure, and I can always add in electricity because I have more than enough of that. Anyways, and then I get up into orbit, which that one's just like, hey, slide over these covers. It's kind of like an origami thing, and then I have covers that are, technically speaking, fuel tanks until dunk, and then, get them on there. For the front, for the props. And then I hook in this hose, and I hook in that hose, and then now I have fuel, and it's spinning, so suck it and blow it out the rear end. And it gets heated up because exhaust from main engine go brrr. Super efficient is what they say. Personally, I got really tired, especially since that rotation gets transferred. Also, it's not just the exhaust. The rotation of that engine also adds to those props' movement. So it's exhaust and the rotation of the engine, the counter-rotating. Million RPM, a little higher actually. 1.1 really, or 1 point, it doesn't matter. Point is, it's only slightly higher. So, and I don't use that. It's like, it'll last for maybe a 20-hour period, and I'm not going to do that. I never even used a million RPM. What, are you kidding me? That's insane. I would never do that. Like, this thing didn't go above 100. Go away. I have fuel limitations, you bastards. Even with my air shrouds and everything, and me sitting in this fucker as best I can, just holding on to your fucking life. It's like, it's fuel that's leaving, it's getting lighter. Oh yeah, no, that's great, super, yeah, no, but also. But anyways, I got ozone now, I'm turning into O2, I've got nitrogen dioxide, you know, from the air or whatever, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like nitrogen expanding still gives me thrust. So it's like, fuck it. I'll just collect that. And liquid nitrogen's still useful for things, so fuck it. This is all liquid. Like literally everything's a liquid and spongiform material, and then it's insulated with several layers of vacuum and all the rest of that. So it's just like, I'm basically strapped to fuel tanks. I'm on top of my, this is me in the air with my suit, and I'm going for it. It's fun stuff, is what they say, but then it's not. Because it's like, then you suddenly, and this is over a year, so it's like I had a lot of practice and everything, but even then it's just like, fucking holy hell. And even with all the electromagnetics, it's like, I have an electromagnetic, array. Yeah, it's technically speaking like an antenna, but it's like, it's supposed to be a solar cell, right? But it's like, I've got aluminum on the back, and then I've got plastic over there, so that way it can roll out, and you can fold a bunch of the roll out into like this little tiny or bigger tube, in terms of length, but it's bigger, diameter size. So, anyways, but I have fluid that goes through that, all right, as well. It's the James Webb Telescope's kind of like acoustic thing. And so it's like, yeah, the sun will propel me. It's not propelling me fast enough. This is bullshit. I need more propellant. Plasma. Let's go for it. So I had to test those plasma engines for a long time. I got almost halfway the distance to the moon testing them and coming back before I ever decided to do this. And it's like, I had the little, weather balloon and everything, so it's like, all right, they have a little platform, and as it yanks, it slowly acts like a spring that'll get tighter, and it'll start accelerating towards me. Then it's literally a hand crank. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's a hand crank that has a little vibrational thing, and so that way, like, it'll slowly turn that and get it in without having me rotate, like, an insane amount. Anyways, I got there, it's like, oh yeah, now let me stick these huge, ginormous other bell-ins and a whole bunch of electrical connection shit. So it's like, if you think I didn't have this already, I tested it before this ever happened. Same thing with the solar panels, which is like, these are brand new solar panels, because the other ones may have got hurt or something. I don't know, man. It's just like reliability. I'm not fucking around anymore. This is terrifying. But what it means is I have an IR, emittance device, with a thermoacoustic design that helps me just try and remove as much heat as possible. Good stuff, right? And then I have an electromagnetic and then laser thing, well, light thing more than anything, but it's like, that will hopefully block some, and then there's like a little tinier magnetosphere around me, and then I have my own little tinier, even stronger magnetosphere around me, and then plasma behind me. So die all of that radiation that way, and go away from me, please. That's dangerous, I don't like that. You might kill me, and I don't like this. Plus, it's also a antenna at that point. There's like a bunch of coils and phase arrays, and so it's like, oh right, that's a Sally effectively. So it's like, all right, get out the 2.4s and whatever else I've got for internet. Stream the whole time as I'm going over there. Don't talk to anyone at all on message, because it's like, fuck you. I need to pay attention and live, you damn bitch. I'm in a suit and that's it. And I have like liquid slurry and water at any given time for my food. And then I have, anti-anxiety, and then stimulants like caffeine and some sugar, and like ADHD med. It's fucking insane. As you go through, it's like, I need to pay attention and focus. This is gonna be a rough one, and here's some barbiturates for you, otherwise known as beta blocker, otherwise known as don't have anxiety attack through adrenaline surges. The standard, right? As me just going through this, and I have to stick a tube to my butt in the freaking genital area, effectively shit and piss in my fucking stupid spacesuit. I got a vacuum chamber, like you remember the fuel thing? Well, this one's more like a canister, so it's like it sucks it out. So that way it's like, well, it's sealed around here, and it really, and then it's like just sucks it out. But to make sure it's not gonna be a bad thing, because you wouldn't want it to rip it out. But steam stain or something, it's like, I'm gonna treat it now with cooling and heating, and now it's carbon and some hydrogens and some other shit. I will use that and burn whatever I don't want, and then make hydrocarbons and hydrogen peroxides and ethanols and so on. And I am all maybe have some fuels, methanes, whatever I can get. We're just gonna go for it. And it's like, I have a 0.1 g constant acceleration and deceleration that I can maintain stably with more than enough fuel to still be able to get off this damn fucking moon and maybe make it back. But just in case, 0.1 g, just gonna fucking do that. It's going and being accelerated because of the electricity that I have to have for plasma to be accelerated and make plasma, even with the little undulation, all these cool, turbines, the bladeless turbine I put on my YouTube. It's like, it's cool, neat, but still, just going for it. Anyways. But then it's like, right, I have to have all the other gear with me to slow that down and land on the moon and then make a whole bunch of fuel and live for a while. To get off the frickin' moon, I'm also going to take whatever cool rocks and shit I can find. I got this cool gemstone, and this is the only ice I've ever been able to find. Perfectly preserved in its atmospheric, quotation marks, composition, whatever that is. Multiple layers of vacuums, and it's whatever. Point is, it's preserved. I was like, I'm never going to sell this. This is mine. Suck it, NASA. This is all the rest. Anyways, I went back from that, and I was there so it took me almost a month to get there. It's what it felt like. I don't know what 1.1 G would get. But the point is, it took me however long to get there, and it was way longer than I thought it was going to be. It took a long time. And then it was like, alright, now I have to land. And now I have to get enough fuel to land safely back on Earth. This is totally going to work out for me. So it's just like, fuck you, people in whatever chat, I don't care, you suck, I have to live, and you suck. I don't care about your mean or whatever, maybe this or something, go away. Just donate. I was always angry pretty much most of the time, because who isn't? There's a singular individual that's just made himself get to the moon. It's like, oh shit, oh god. I got there though, this is good, yay. Anyways, but I got off, It was as close as an approach as I could get after a month of doing that, because I had to stay there for a month, and I had the stuff that makes soil and poop and urine turn into more slurry fucking food. Super great. I lived behind my solar panel at all times, as it could fold out and just stay there. It's like, screw you, son, you bitch, you're gonna kill me. All I have is a suit and a strap to sleep. This is terrifying. So it's like, nope, that solar panel is my friend, and it makes all the electricity. I hope nothing problematic happens to it. I brush it every fucking damn day, almost every 2 hours, just fucking... Get rid of anything that might destroy my thing from working. Screw you, dust! You bastards! I have electromagnetics, you should go... Oh, that's right, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. Fucking damn it. Where's my light reflectance? Anything to get rid of it. I couldn't really figure anything out, truthfully. They're all really kind of annoying. It's just get rid of the dust as fast as you can kind of stuff. Sucks. Anyways, got it all done, came back, did all my blood tests and stuff with myself. I posted online and whatever. And then it was like, alright, I'm going to bed after eating for real. No, no, no. I'm gonna eat real food. What's going on online? I don't give a fuck. No, 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 no. I literally give no of the shits. Meanwhile, it's also like, I'm the only one with a 49cc engine, my engine, for sale on the onlines. That can get you too, with all the stuff that I have, if you buy it all. The moon! I signed a whole bunch of paperwork, by the way, to tell them I was doing this flight plan and everything, and when and where I'd be. So it's like they couldn't do anything to me. They were just like, well, he did it. Fuck off. I was so fucking happy about that. There were a bunch of people outside my damn private property. I was like, get the fuck out of here. It had bedrock and super thick wall that was tall that would electrocute you. It's very impossible to ever get. Even lizards are like, I slipped off. What the fuck? There's an overhang to it. There's I'm using lasers and some light pulses and shit to basically make anything above my house look blurry. Or trying to look over the fence blurry. It's not even there and you don't know what's going on. And then it was like, what's this? Jam your bullshit. You're not allowed in here. And here's some electricity pulses to go fucking fry your shit out. Out. No drones. Fuck you. Then I had an analog thing. That one was fun. It's like, here's how to make an analog computer that runs off pure gears and shit. That runs all of the internet. I'm not even kidding. It's like, oh, look at them sending things into my internet. This is just a pulse. Because I had a whole surveillance. There's an analog surveillance thing. So it's just like, let me just move this switch. It's no longer connected. None of it's connected at all anymore. And then same thing for the end is, because it's I can just send the correct little IP, but they're like, oh, blah, 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 it, and random, and this, and blah. And so it's fine, I'll just handle that with whatever your bullshit program. I'll just move this around and ding. And then it's like, well, what's this over here? This is a light for the outgoing, this is a light for the fucking incoming. That means they were trying to do something opposite of what I wanted to happen. Good luck! Can only do that stuff. All analog. Literally even the surveillance is analog. It's not light to electricity. It's light to light that then gets converted into electricity at the outgoing signal. The router stuff. So it's like, suck it, privacy maintained, do 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 do. Anyways, it was just because it was like, I'm fucking tired. I just went to the moon and it was a long trip and I was there for a month and then it was a long trip coming back. You guys can suck it. Just leave me the hell alone. Here's all the blood. Here's the scans of the body. All of the MRIs and x-rays and bullshit. And here's the Geiger, Sievert, whatever bullshit that is. Any and all of it. Here's the suit too. It's in whatever. Posted it. Have them film me when I'm taking a shower for fucking once. It's like, here's like all of the bullshit basically, and it's like, wait, you're taking a shower? Yeah, no, but it's not, whatever. You're not gonna see nothing. Same thing for like, I'm sleeping. Suck it. They're like, I can't play any messages that fuck with you. Yeah, suck it up. I don't care. Here is all of the donations that you're allowed. These songs, these pictures, that's it. Here's some subscriptions, fuck off. I didn't get a lot of subscriptions, surprisingly, and not many people have followed me. Again, surprisingly. Like, I'm the only guy to travel to the moon and back by himself. You should have interacted. I talked all the time. They were dicks that didn't understand. And it's like, dude, do you really understand your fucking ridiculous bullshit? I won't do it because I'm a lame, attention-whoring fucking audience. Dude, I need to pay attention and not die. This is serious shit. Go fuck yourself. They all thought it was a hoax for a while, and then it's like, no, he did that. Yeah, it's all confirmed. They're like, I dispute the validity of this. But they still bought all my engines and shit. Granted, none of them are on Amazon or anything else, my own fucking thing. I was doing a whole drone thing for a while. They're like, you're not allowed to use fully autonomous. I was like, what's the fucking paperwork to I then just started teleporting it and then shooting it with like a tube over to them. That one's a whole other thing with quantum tunnel, wormhole stuff that's on my YouTube already. I was like, I'll just print it, and they have a warehouse that just goes underneath my house and then above, and there's like some blimps and stuff. And they're like, I'm not using a shipping company. You guys are expensive. Everything's handled autonomously. I don't have to care. I got away with it for a little bit because I was able to like, here, this is your drop-off point. Go there and get it. Which I was allowed to do. I had my own company. I was allowed to do that. There was nothing saying I couldn't do that. They were not happy about it, though. Go get it your damn self already, you bastards. You can walk for a little bit or ride a bike or have someone else pick it up for you. They were really pissed, though, because it was, like, effectively they couldn't hack the thing. And I was just bored with it. I was like, why can't you just leave it alone and not hack things? 'Cause fuck off. Not even a joke. I was like, so let's see how they manage this one. Are they going to break quantum tunnel internet technology with encryption and randomization? What the fuck? Let's see if they figure some bullshit out here. Where the fuck? What the bullshit is this? They were not happy for a long time. They started just breaking them. It was like, oh really? Let's see if they manage to break through my metamaterial I made specifically for this. That's light and basically nearly indestructible. That immediately alerts authorities, by the way. This is an impact. That's for sure someone wielding something to do that. This is for sure heat or electricity. It's like, here's a bunch of trackers on this fucker. He's currently paralyzed too. They were never happy about the paralyzed part. I don't really care though. It's just like impulse and fucking electricity fields, which is a fancy way of putting, I basically made them ground themselves. And then they were just stuck there. Unable to move any at all of their muscles. Still can breathe, still can think, heart rate, all that, still the same. They're just stuck there. It was like, oh, really? So you thought you were going to run? I will unground myself. And you have no idea. Naked, ceramics, rubbers, fucking multiple fucking people connected to try and break it. I'm just loving watching them just fucking stuck in lines and just like, as a person comes over and unlocks it, and it's like, I'll just get my stuff, bye. You're just fucking stuck. And it's like, woo, woo. It comes over like 8 hours later, they pissed and shit themselves. Still got bowel movements, all that. It's fun stuff though. It's like, so vandalism and destruction of property and trespassing and all the rest of this stuff. Oh, what do you know? You have warrant for your arrest already, and you also did all these drug things, and okay, there you go. What do you know? It was so fast. It's like, no, I don't have any meth. And just meth, jingle. So simple, like, to get them on that. Like, so many of the times they had that shit. It was hilarious dealing with it. And it's like, I got so much money for this, for my insurance I put on this fucker and shit. It's like, look at them. Business and destruction and all that, and they have to pay, and they just fucking took everything they had, and it was fun stuff for a while. I will destroy my property. It reminds me of this one. Alright, so it's like, I'm a guy who bought a Ferrari. I leased it to this collateral. I said I would pay this stuff. I will burn the Ferrari that I said I would pay for. Then me looking at that, I'm like, oh, so they wanted your house is what you're saying. I will now burn my house down. Oh, so you're going to jail for a long period of time. And all of your money, except for like basically just above poverty or poverty wages here that you make, regardless of how much you make, will head towards the bank because they own you for that now. I'm like, I'm on TikTok saying that I burn my, because they're coming here to, and I'm like, wow, look at you, you fucking retard. Fucking smart move, eh? I look super big and tough, dumbass. They're like going through this insurance, we'll break it, we'll get all this other, and I'm like, oh really? Yeah, okay. Let's see what happened here. They're willing to lease things because I got other things that I sell. It's like, here's the whole kit and caboodle. It was hilarious. I didn't pay. What are they gonna do? Take me from space? Doop. What do you know? You can't be easy. I will break this. No. Jail. All the things. They had no ability to do anything. They were fucked. I was laughing up a storm. They were like, oh, you're so terrible to us vandalizing, thieving bastards. Why don't you just let us... Like, what can you say at that point? I was having a blast at that. Especially when it's like, I literally employ nothing but drones and it's me who runs this. I'm the one. All of the money pretty much goes to making this shit. And all of it happening. I still have this like fucking gun that would fire something across the world. That one was fun. I was like, oh, you're in Japan? Boom! The fuck? It goes in, it has this little curve, goes in, and it's like, you have a window, right? Yeah, no, go through this window? Okay. It goes in, and there's like a little parachute. You don't have to return the parachute. It's on us. You paid for it. Japan became a regular customer for a long time. I can get away without having to go through customs. And it's like, pretty much, the customs did not like me for a long time. I'm not kidding. They're like, you need to go through our ports of entry. I'm like, I can just go directly to their house. Here's a fucking plate that'll just fucking let it pop in as it opens. Oh, really? Yeah, no, I'll just 3D print it. Here, you're paying for that service? Okay, let's just do. What are you gonna fucking do? They were like, sign the stupid automated shit! Government was so angry for a while. He's got a fucking halfway around the world gun, bro. Just fucking give it. He's just 3D printing it at their homes. Ugh. This is bullshit. Oh yeah, no, that was a whole other thing. Cause it's like, we'll copy your design. What the fucking hell? Are you sure? Alright, well, yeah. Alright. I'm cheaper than you. And you use mass slave labor in your China and all the rest of it. I'm also stronger, better, in all ways, my materials. Fuck off. No. Why don't you fuck off? Stop trying to copy my designs. I went to like patenting them in certain places to get people to fuck off. Because it's like, your engines are unreliable. I was like, no, they're not. That's a fucking knockoff. Whose is that? I was so pissed for a while. I was like, this is bullshit. This is bad. There's a reason why we don't design it that way. Because it'll break. It's not supposed to be like that. And then it broke and it killed someone. And I was like, see? Because they were like, we're going to test this in court. Boom! I was like, behold the stupids who made this. I have so many other things that are actually in my designs than the rough synopsis I give people that are all these little intricate details that really make it such that it's super reliable, strong, and safe to use. Very much more efficient than what normal people probably can get away with. And it's like, that's because I don't want to give you that stuff because that's my stuff. And you can probably figure out your own methods, and that is a-okay. All right, this is just a basic way, and then you can really make it your own. Because this should be ubiquitous. You know what I mean? But mine are this way because that's what I need to put out. So I feel I put something good out. Right. Meanwhile, jokesters over here killing people and stuff. Your engines are unreliable. Toroidals will never work. What are you, fucking stupid? They worked for me getting to the moon. I denounce the... I don't believe you got there. Okay? You want to go on the ride with me? I took one person in their group with their own little fucking thing. Whole thing. It was hilarious watching them just freak that there's no flat earth. I was like, do. Now we're here for a month. He's just catatonic. I had to fucking carry him back. It was like, by the time they got past, me and him, they got past like this certain point of like no return. Like, we're heading there. That's it. They just catatonicked. They went just full, and they weren't there anymore. Strapped them in and just kept going. It's like, we're on our way. We have to do it. Like, literally, we're fucked. I can't go backwards. But not without entering at an angle I'm going to die in. So this is just going to have to be what it is. I was like, see, with their stupid little camera thing, He's catatonic because you're a fucking idiot that believe bullshit. I took several dumbasses that were like, we are the right-wing bullshitters. We spin so well. I was like, oh really? Let me just, boom, let's go. This bad boy can hold so many people. Let's take 7. Wait, what? You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take a whole space plane there. Let's go. Wait, what? And then it was like, you're right. Skyscraper's better. Don't do the what part again. I then flew my skyscraper to the moon with all of them there, which we had like 2.3 million or something. Yeah, 2.3, 2.5, something like that, of them that went to the moon. They were just like strapped in for the ride, man. I was like, have fun, dumbasses. You're coming with me. Swiggity swiggity, let's go. It was like the majority of all the idiot politicians, effectively. And some certain business people. It was hilarious watching them just go, it's not letting me pass out. I'm like, no, it's not. Deal with it. You're going to be awake for the entire ride. Let's go. It was hilarious. They were like, this is mistreatment, I'll sue you. You waived all rights. It's true. Even death. Yeah, that's a whole fucking fun one. I was like, you had no idea how many of them were really willing to just fucking, just like, I will spin, I will continue bullshitting, I am the big tough blah blah blah. You know, doubling down to their bullshit. They thought they were gonna weasel out. I'm like, oh yes, let me just make sure you sleep in this. You're not leaving, guess what? Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that. Once you signed it, we just took you over there and plopped you in. It was hilarious watching them just freak. There's nothing they could do. It's like, this is all of, yeah, every one of them. Yeah, no. Boop! And then they got there and came back. That one was much faster, though. It's like, I don't have to fucking make a month of, I've got a huge, ginormous fucking skyscraper. I think I can make this so much faster. Brrr. Been in there for a day. I collected some rocks. You know, had some dances. You know, enjoyed myself. Came back the next day. They all catatonicked pretty hard. There's only like a few that were like not that way. Because they're so used to bullshitting as a con man and woman that they just like, nah, it was fake! I was fed drugs the entire time. They just lost every bit of their credibility. Like literally everybody saw a sky. I went around the earth just the right way. So it's like southern half and northern half of the hemispheres just fucking saw these fuckers just fucking going. It's like, we're taking him to the moon! Just beaming it out to everyone. Both auditorially and like, you know, with internet stuff and radio wave and all that. These are all their names and so on. Took them to the moon, came back. It was a whole thing. It was fun times. They did not like me after that. There was a lot of bullshit that happened. I was like, look, see the massive climate problem? It's the world's biggest, like, fuck you, basically, to them. You know, like, you couldn't get bigger. It's like, look at the climate change, look at the climate change. Climate change, climate change, climate change, change, climate change, climate change. Your religion, bad, stupid, wrong. This is really what he meant. Why don't you interpret it like this instead of using rationalization, justification, blah, blah, blah. Whole long speech and spew, and then eventually getting back, and it was, I just want to fucking finish this. As you can tell, I just want to take my shower. I'm supposed to be taking a shower. I have not taken my shower. It's fucking warm in here, too. Yeah. Anyways, I did that. It was fun. It was fun for me, at least. I don't know about them, but it was fun for me, you know? I was like, you're basically strapped in. And you know what? I'm not even the pilot. I'm just the person talking for the tour guide. Because they're like, he's not a professional fucking astronaut pilot. Well, I went to the moon. I think I know what I'm doing, but okay. I'm the one that built the ginormous fucking almost Titan level sized skyscraper that flew. Oh God! They're like, we still would prefer. Okay, fine. They tried to bullshit their way out of this for so long. Everybody, like, just pitched into making them just fucking feel like garbage. Like, look at you, chicken buck buck. Buck buck, loser. Lame. It was so fun. It was just fun to just dog on their ass constantly. It's like, look at you! Oh yeah, big tough guy, huh? Can't go to the moon and back, eh? We'll just make it so it's during your, like, little fucking, you get, what is that, a fucking vacation? Let's go, boy! Let's go, girl! Let's go! Meanwhile, it's like Democrats are just fucking livid that they don't get to go. I'm like, this is all of your fucking problems. Literally every one of your issues. As a person, as a company, as the money, and so on. Every one of them was on that day. I individually targeted them. I'm not kidding. I was just so happy to do it too. It was super fun. Yeah, it took a little bit. It's like, in the course of a year, I just fucking rammed their asses as hard as I could. I was like, this is the date. Sign it. Yeah, if you pass it, guess what? You'll get free rides to the moon from your own personal vehicles I'll just give you. Your own personal space planes. Not even a joke. They all got space. Oh yeah, no. Well, if they do it and they don't go catatonic, but also they don't try and spin it. Like, there's a lot of, like, seriously, I mean, they tried their damnedest in the court to fuck with this tip. They're like, I'm not spinning, these are my personal, the climate change says the evidence here is sound. You mean the evidence says climate change is sound? Basically, yes, but a little bit also no. The climate change says evidence because in your face is right there. You can't deny this. Oh. No. It was a fun one. But, you know, they're never ones to pass up a fucking, like, bet and an argument and shit. Like, the fucking, like, bullshit their way through things. They're like, how did you fucking find me? I'm like, I just did. I looked at the earth rising in no way, in any capacity, unless we're talking in relation to the sun, the star we orbit. And I said, you know, the earth can tell me. There are things that will talk to me and give me information. I will put my ear to the ground and to the wind, to the electronic voices that are there. And they will display unto me the truth that is to be revealed. Whoa! Yeah, right? I then like danced weirdly to make them feel awkward. Yeah, as a representation to certain people that they discriminate against, obviously. It was hilarious. It was fun. It was super fun. I just murdered the shit out of these fuckers. The comedy was great. Everybody laughed at it for what it was worth. But that being said, it was like, these are people that do these things, and you donate to them to help them do those things that you say you dislike. You should really look at where your money's going before you give it, you dumb simpleton, 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 simpleton. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say simps. That's why it keeps repeating itself here. Simps. You're simps. For a masculine in every way, you're not homosexual, but like, it's vaguely homosexual, the misogynistic masculine viewpoint you seem to have. Where you go, that male dick that runs that fucking goddamn company and stuff. With donations and volunteering and more. It's fun stuff, man. They really just liked it after a while. When I just kept hitting them over and over and over about their fucking, oh my god, so insecure, low self-esteem, don't have no confidence. Look at their worth, it's based upon XYZ material or physical form. They got hit hard. They were not happy. It really ruined them for a long time. That's good, because it's like, that's what you did to everyone that you hated on, because of XYZ rationalization and justification of your given political identity, religion, and so on and so forth. I then turned my sights towards the Democratic crowd and the left-wing side. I was like, you pretty much do the same thing. See them crying? Are you going to be a decent person? Or do you just want it to be your turn to hurt others? Is that what you're going to do? When are you going to fucking finally be a decent person, huh? Is it going to be now or later? When's later, huh? When's later? When's later going to be? Eh? Huh? I'm just saying. You know, what better time than now? Eh? Little Rage Against the Machine there. Rage! Oh yeah? How about you, Machine? Are you raging against yourself yet? Go fuck yourself. Oh, me? Alright, okay. Sure, whatever. Anyway. I then proceeded to do nothing really differently, if I'm being honest, for a long time. Because I already talked about it, I was like, I'm just gonna fuck with North Korea for a bit and some other fucking places I don't like. I'm not in their airspace. They're like firing missiles and shit. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. Just had them land on them. Destroyed their entire military doing that. That was fun. They tried to kill me. I was like, fuck you, bitch. And then destroyed an entire town and left literally all citizens alone. That one was fun. They were just like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, oh. But now you're just here, and there's no buildings or anything, but I guess have fun. Here's a nice little portal to get you to the nearest town. Have fun with it. I'm sure they'll love that. Thank your fucking local government, people. Who are not here, by the way. They're over there, through the portal. There's a portal? Well, you know, it's quantum tunnel stuff, or the news. You'll be fine. Just make sure you keep going through. Don't ever slow down and stand in between. Don't be a dummy. Yes, you're there now. Why are you also there? I just decided to go over here. Why? I flew. It's not really there. It's a projected quantum tunnel array system that I fucking use lasers and some fucking stupid, like, electromagnetics from, or magnetosphere and charge dynamics between the ground and the atmosphere. And some batteries, effectively. I know, right? It's like, how does this work? Tell us how! I want to fucking make projected portals that stays. You bitch! They're not really portals, it's, you know, like, they're quantum tunnel stuff. Regardless! It's fine, it's no biggie. I'll let you know about it later at some point. Oh, yeah. Anyways, I went over to the moon, I lived on it, I guess, technically speaking. Not really. I kind of just, like, set up a fuel station, and then went over to Mars, and I lived on Mars, underground, and then I left and went to my own, you know, personal place that I set up and made full of, like, you know, people that like me and love me and stuff, and aren't, like, angry earthling people. That's soul and shit and more. That something outside. They're nice people. I like them. They're very good people. Yeah, the whole caveat was always the thing. It was like, just don't ever fucking show up in my life again, and make sure nothing tries to hurt me or fucking disrupt my life or anything like that, and we're good. Don't do things that make me need to have problems with you. Literally just don't do that. Which, by the way, the only people that managed to get anywhere were the people that also went to Mars that were able to do that. I was like, they're still not making proper fucking spaceships and shit. That was a whole fucking kid and caboodle, honestly. Really? Oh yeah, that was fucking annoying for a long time. I was like, how are you still using these stupid dumb propulsion methods? Why are you still using this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, you... What is with this? You know, like, we only have oxygen and hydrogens and sometimes there's methanes and stuff. Why? This is the stupidest thing after all. I showed you that you could do more. I sell you things that do better than that. Why are you still using this? NASA was all fucking like, oh yeah, no, so we're not allowed to buy these apparently because government says no with private entity or some bullshit. I was like, that's bullshit. You buy from Elon. That's utter crap. No way. What is this? Oh. Look at you, all jealous and developing your own bullshit. You want to use mine? It's fucking just there and it's cheap. It'll work. It's my stuff and I want my stuff. were not having it. I wasn't having it. I was fucking pissed after a while. I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, a lot of people tried to live through the stars with my spacesuit and shit. They're like, van life. Yeah, we got that van life as we do orbits and shit. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is this? They don't even know the first thing. God damn it, motherfucker. I found so many floating vans full of dead people. They don't even know how fucking dynamics of being stuck inside of a little fucking cabin works. Like, are you kidding me? You're gonna kill each other. You can't even take a ride for 6 fucking hours without wanting to do that and go outside and take a break and piss and shit or something. What the fuck? There's no way this is gonna work the way you think. They were not in any way believing that. I was like, okay, well, I sold this to you and it will definitely keep you alive, so whatever. They died. They would murder each other so fucking fast after all. It was a horror show. I can't even imagine how many different times that, stuff from like, streamers would show up. Like, they just started stabbing each other. This was just bashing this person's head in. That's just rape, man. That's straight up rape, bro. It's not even a joke. That's just raping. That's a rape. Human beings are not made for this shit, you know what I mean? Even with the fucking anti-gravity thing, which isn't technically really anti-gravity, it's just a suction-y electromagnetic force that's more of a vibrational, like optical tweezer that sucks it forward, but it's using electromagnetic that then creates it's a whole thing, it doesn't really matter. Point is, it sucks it towards the sea, but you have to constantly put energy in. So it's like there's that part, so there's no artificial, it doesn't just automatically, and there's no gravity, which is why it's artificial with quotation marks and with an asterisk gravity. It's just like there's no actual gravity. It's just like a really good electrodynamic and chromodynamic fucking interaction force thing. It creates fields that effectively just suck each other towards a central point as a pump, like a vacuum pump. But the energy has to go somewhere, right? But it's like it bleeds it through because it's like it creates a field potential like a capacitor that then dumps into continuing the process, but like you have to always put in energy. It'll go, oh, and then it'll go a little lower, and then oh, and then a little lower, and then oh, and then a little lower. And so it's like, I need to pump energy in. And it's not a small amount of energy. It's a pretty decent amount of like a few watt hours to tens of watts to thousands of watts hours, depending on the size we're talking about here, of continuous energy you have to put into it. It's like, we can maintain that, right? And it's like, yeah, no, you can. Trust me, I have it on my stuff. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're also in a fucking van-shaped goddamn, like, spaceship, bro. You're not gonna fucking want to fucking be in that for that long. Does nobody understand this? You're like, I'm going to Jupiter. Oh, really? You're going to Jupiter? Do you know how far Jupiter is away from Earth? They're like, no, it's fine. Jupiter's not that far. I had your super cool technology. Oh, yeah, did you spring for the super uber shit that effectively allows for slightly faster than light travel stuff? To full-on faster than light travel stuff? Which isn't technically, and if you ever actually even traveling faster than the speed of light at all, it's a vacuum. You know, like vacuum energy is a weight that pushes on us, and it's like getting redirected and effectively lessened on one side and increased more on another. And then like we use the inertial acceleration engine thing, and then it's like, if you get near relativistics, like you kind of curve space and time and then sort of make it kind of like an Albuquerque-ish. It's not really, it's just, you're just going into like a little area that technically isn't really there, you know what I mean? It's like a full captured movement towards the rear. Yeah, you know? And then it like, the relativistic speed then got siphoned off to like our continuation of 1g acceleration. It's a whole bunch of stuff that effectively, because it's like I can make a reverse of that pump. Well, it's kind of like a reverse. It's like a vacuum. So it's like, oh, if I put on this degree of resistance, then it's like, oh, I'm only ever going to experience 1g, but I'm accelerating way faster than 1g with less energy and really complex computations, yes. Okay, to make that happen. So it's like, yay! The cabin now has artificial gravity at 1g, and I'm traveling faster than light. And it's like, yeah, no, also you paid me like fucking $100 million. So, for your like super duper skyscraper fucking yacht in the fucking space. Meanwhile, that was a whole other thing for a while. They were like, why is it so expensive? And then I left. I was like, I don't want to live in this fucking goddamn galactic neighborhood anymore. Fuck this place. Wait, why is it $100 million for faster than light travel? Why is it fucking so expensive? You haven't even got rid of your capitalism, you fucking dumbass bitches. You fucks. They're like, I got the other thing that just constantly gives me thrust for 1g for like a really long time, effectively. Yeah, great. You have to slow down, you know that. I'm going to Jupiter in like a couple of weeks. Really? Let me know how that goes somewhere else. I'm not around here. I live now on my own planet with my own people. I'm nowhere near any of you, and if you ever show up, I'm gonna murder you. Go away. It's a whole thing. After a certain point, I was just like, this is stupid, and I hate everything. It's stupid, and I hate it. It's stupid, and I don't like this, and it's stupid. They're complaining about having to pay that much money for faster than light fucking travel. It's wormhole. It's not wormhole. That's just quantum tunnel stuff. Just don't do that. Yeah. If you make rings, they can technically make a wormhole. But you can keep them in their orbit or whatever. For like years at a time, and then they'll like synchronize with, or not synchronize, but entangle, and then create what is effectively a one-to-one sort of a effect with space and time. Now it takes a few years to do that for something about the size of like 120 millimeter phantom. For the size of like, let's say it was the Earth, it'd take a few thousand years. But for a spaceship, it's like, oh yeah, no, like let's say it was the size of the largest ever cargo or oil tanker ever built. That'd take about under 2 decades, so like about 13 to 15 years. Well, that's not bad, you know? I know, right? It's like, yeah, no, what about person size? It takes about 5 to 7 years. Wait, what? Yeah, once it starts growing, it grows pretty fast. But then it gets to a certain point where it doesn't like to continue growing as fast, and then it takes a really, really, really long time. So like the size of the Earth, nobody really thinks about how big it really is until they have to actually look at it from outside of being on the surface, and then they realize like how minuscule a person is in terms of versus the Earth. And then it's like, oh, you know, it grew, and it's only 5, oh, you know, and then, you know, circles have like this ever-increasing size of surface area to their diameter. It's like an exponential, practically. And it gets harder and harder, and it doesn't accelerate, it stays, and then it will slow down. So it's like past a certain point, you just don't want to make them any bigger. They're literally like just Just don't do that. Yeah, that's a fucking few thousand years, like 3,500 and I think 89, yeah, years to fully like make a Earth-sized fucking ring portal, you know, well, wormhole more than anything. Yeah, and of course the ring has to be good. You know what I mean? Which means it's like, oh, guess what? Yeah, you know, then it has to pass around us, so it needs to be big enough. It needs to do it in such a way that it doesn't cause. You see, like it keeps getting worse and worse the more you look at it. But I was like, well, it still works with the quantum tunnel, and like as long as you continue passing through, and especially on the other side, like you can pass back through, and you're not gonna have a problem. But if you stay in the center, it's like fuck you. You know, like you're basically making it very much like possible for people to ultimately get hurt that are also going through. It doesn't. It's not likely to occur. You know what I mean? Like it will though. It will definitely occur if you do it for way too long and so on. Which is like, don't do that. Just fucking don't do that. Just fucking, what are you doing? Stop doing this stuff. That's stupid. Why are you doing this stuff? That is stupid and dangerous. Stop doing that. And then they're all like angry at me every time, and I get pissed super fast after. Like the I don't want to live on this planet anymore happens tremendously fast. It's just intense after a while. It's like, really? Oh, it's $100 million to go faster than light with all the accoutrements and everything for 1G, and then you have faster than light. And it just basically works forever. I mean, there's some basic repair and maintenance, but it'd take a few billion years, so like you're probably fine. You know? So it's like whatever. Yeah, because I have the fucking quotation marks perpetual motion transistors, which aren't really ever doing any motion. So there's that, but I increase the degree of electricity and other energies I get out. So it's like, oh, that's nice. That's also on my YouTube. Yeah, standard stuff, really, for me. Easy to understand, manufacture, produce in large volumes and quantities. Standard stuff. These are bad socks. I should throw these socks away. Ew. Alright. Let's move on from that. But yeah, no, that's a whole other like fucking conversation. It's like it wouldn't work and we would be doing it if it did. That's not how that works. We had internal combustion engines, like they were far more powerful before we ever started using them. We stuck with steam for the longest time. And that's like a real thing, man. They're like, if we would be using it, then it's like, shut up. You actually are wrong in all aspects. Like, there's a large amount of resistance to change to things, and there's money to be made continuing stuff as is and switching to something that they had already planned on keeping around and using. You know? Like, there's that part that you have to understand is also there. Okay? But it's like, nuh-uh. And I go, so anyways, let's just go through the YouTube videos. Oh, wait, I'm not going to do that with you. You're going to do that yourself. To validate or invalidate my claims. Have fun with that, dummy. I don't need to do that for you. You're the one that would want the debate and all this other stuff. And it's like, this is simple. And then they have this weird, do you know about this? What is this? They're like, their field, their particles is this. And I'm like, okay, are you sure though? They're like, look at this, there's a baryon, Hyperion. It's anything with this many quarks and it's a strange quark. They call it Hyperion. And I'm like, they're still cool people. But at the same time, I started getting pissed off with the fucking names for subatomic particles and tops-down quark bullshit and charms and bull crap like that. And tons, all the tons exist, all the ons.
It's just like, these are basic, like they're short-lived, doesn't really do anything except decay in a particular field alignment sort of way, and it modulates a given, kind of like directionality of a field pulse. So it's like, this is a chirp, or like really just one pressure wave, then this ultimately is in it, and as it decays, it goes and modulates with these given spike waves or frequencies within inside of the pulsing of that one singular field, which then allows for given dynamics to occur in field dynamics for quantum field theories. So I started getting really fucking bored with learning the names and caring about any of it. But like, if I said them, then it would sound cooler and more professional. You know what I mean? I would sound like I know more about what it is I'm saying, and he's not just like saying science words that seem like they're something. But if like you were actually a quantum physicist, then you would know, for what it's worth, what these parts are that I'm talking about, that I'm sticking together, that work like this. And so it's just like, yeah, no, that's exactly what that would be for how they would work. I don't like that, but yes. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. You want to feel fucking bright and important, fine, but I'm going to do the thing where I actually try and make things happen. Instead of this weird bullshit where you're like, no! I'm a solution maker, not a fucking crybaby. That's how the old dinosaurs used to talk in their like little conference rooms for dinosaur capitalism. I'm not some stinking crybaby, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to make solutions to the problems. I'm not going to keep fucking listing the issues. List the issues we have to fucking solve, and then solve them one by one from one to the next, you fucking ignoramuses. Okay? We got to do that, not fucking complain and trash our fucking ability to actually make something happen. Comprende capiche? You fucking idiosas. Jesus Louise! Come on! Give me something to work with. Who's the smart motherfuckers here? Jesus fucking Christ. Stop complaining can't be done bullshit. Let's solve it already! That's all I ever hear from the fucking idiots that think they're smart in comments and on Reddit. Oh, you can't make a waste heat generator. Proceeds to just make a really cheap, like you can actually make yourself waste heat generator. That concept, which is like, do that. Simple. Just do that. It's literally that simple. Here's how you make, actually speaking, a cheap as fuck, constant hydrogen peroxide maker and liquid oxygen maker. Oh, by the way, still not even fully finished. Ethanol burning fucking liquid, cooled Bellin, which you already know about. Okay, so like, just go fucking do it. And go to fucking space already. Why are you making this so much more difficult than it needs to be? Rocket science is super fucking simple, okay? Stop simping over their ginormous wings in space, man. Did you just say rocket science is simple? Yeah. Because, technically speaking, most of the science and engineering has already been done. So, like, that makes it a lot easier. Like, really smart people made it so that way, like, it's already mostly done, so. That way, it's really relatively much easier than brain surgery. No offense to brain surgery. You are hard, and it sucks. But then I was like, here, just use this infra and ultrasonic destructive interference with laser optical, tweezers that go through the brain into certain areas of matter and the connections there within, and then break it, cut it, and then disintegrate it, and then have it go into the small enough pieces that then go into your blood, brain barrier, pass through, and filter out kidney and so on. Sure, there's some inflammation, whatever, don't care. Here's some stem cells I just shove in there with a really tiny needle, and it'll fucking work out. Just fucking do that, you know? Not hard, right? But then it's like it is actually that that's not stupidly simple for what it's worth. And neither is the rocket science I'm talking about. Like you kind of have to be a little bit smarter than the average person to do it. Yeah, I keep thinking about that. I'm like, someone's gonna eventually call me on my shit. You know what I mean? Like they'll eventually just fucking say, "I'm not smart like that, ever." You know, because it's shit. There's like no way out of like even my ass going. You know what? I need to shut the hell up. I'm actually really smart sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I need to be quiet after a while here. I feel like I'm a little too smart for my own good. I just feel like everybody's at the same level I am. I've always been treated my entire life like I'm a stupid infantilized person because of my ADHD, my depression, my post-traumatic stress disorder, and other issues. And so then it turns into like, especially when it's like I'm just gonna act into a, pop into, act into a character because I practiced doing that when I was in high school, right? And then it's like, oh, now I got all this energy, except I'm not really. Like the moment it turns off, I'm just like, and I have to keep it going for a while. And so like people are like, you're manic. You're just gonna explain something for a really long time, and it's just like these are fucking thoughts in my head to like possibly some weird connection to the people that might be there, and some entanglement form, or they're just like fucking thoughts that I believe other people would have, and other people go they're tests or whatever because of meditation and blah 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 and perspective based thinking stuffs, and I'm like, yeah, no, let's just go with it's all there. And not care about that and get the fucking shit done that we need to get done so we can go to space and live for long times, eh? Let's do the work, eh? Let's stop doing this weird fucking bullshitting around and trying to figure that part out. Instead, let's get this fixed and solved and made. They always fucking weird out with me too often on that one. I just get so like frustrated after a while because it's like, what is this? I have to care about this? Who cares? I don't care. I want to go fucking live for a long time and travel and enjoy my life. Why is it that Earth has to be difficult? Why can't you be normal, Earth? You fucking fuck up humans. Why do you have to be so weird? Why do you gotta be so antagonistic? Because they're antagonistic with me. Like, for what it's worth. I get so annoyed. Like, fact of the matter is, I used to be very nice in the past. I was like, you know what? You're working, you're hard. You're not working as hard as you should. I don't care anymore. Like, this is like, we gotta get shit done. You know what I mean? It's like, leave the fucking anchor behind. Screw that. They're gonna kill your entire thing. Leave them the hell alone. Let them die and freak out there. If they want to get up and fucking move, they'll get up and move. We don't have the time for them. Let others soothe and get them together. We have to do shit. This is what this is for me. That's what it is. We have to get it done. Like this isn't like this paltry bullshit philosophy crap. Get it done. Make it work. Let's go. You know what I mean? I don't have to give a fuck about your bullshit. I don't. I really don't. Your narcissism, I'm not gonna coddle. Your fucking stupid jealousy, I'm not gonna coddle. I'm not gonna fucking give any shits about your bullshit anymore. I don't care. You are an anchor. We would do blah blah blah. Shut up, not constructive. You're a garbage piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. So on and so forth with any pretend intelligent people. I don't care if you have a PhD. If you act like that, you're a garbage piece of shit, unintelligent moron. You're not going to help anyone grow or learn. Get the hell out of here. You're an anchor. You're not better than others. Get out. And you can scream it at me all you want. But I am better. So I'm not going to do that. And I never do in real life. But if you're like that, I'll do that to you. And man, do they get defensive. You ever notice that? Man, they're so defensive. They are garbage motherfuckers. And they're just the most offensive little pieces of shit. Look at them. Wait, call me something. Yeah? Oh, really? You don't want to change the way you behave? This is a boundary being set and I'm super hardcore enforcing it? Ooh, boo-hoo. Suck it up, loser. We got space to go to, you fuck up. You nub, you knob, you fucking loser, lame, pathetic little fucking dumbass. You gabagoo. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to. I don't want you on my spaceship either. Get the hell out of here. I want good people that respect boundaries and understand how to talk to others and communicate and not be a wussy little fucking pissant. Bad commentary doesn't blah, blah, blah. Let's fucking, hey, so this might be something better, on how it could work. Or, maybe this could be a different way of approaching this. And it's like, let's go. Meanwhile, you... We would be doing it, and they'll sound like they're using important, impressive words. Like the very ones that they use, like to go after me, that's actually what they're doing for themselves. It like showcases it off so often. Like they're very idiotic people. You know what I mean? And it's like there's just no reason for that. But it's like, oh no, there's definitely reasons for me to antagonize you. Or any of them. You guys suck. You are insufferable goddamn assholes. You're not necessary for anything. It doesn't matter if you learn something and are good at it. Who cares? I can get someone else that learned it and they're good at it too. That are not insufferable pieces of shit. Go be insufferable pieces of shit with your other insufferable pieces of shit and beat us. Huh? Let's get a little competition here. See what I'm saying? What am I going to do? Other than like, oh yeah, let's go, and all the rest. And you go, is how I imagine you'll actually act. Because you are vindictive, petty, passive-aggressive little assholes who hold grudges. Who don't let things go and get shit done. That's what you do. How does it feel to just get pounded left, right, and center? Is your bell ringing? The clock cleaned? We don't need shit like that. That's garbage. Like, just fucking learn that it's okay to accept that you're not like that little wussy, garbage perfect person you think you are. Make the mistakes, say shit, and try. Grow and communicate differently and respect that shit. Because those people that are in that little camp that think that they're in that camp, guess what? You're not! You're not at all! There's no of you! None in there! You're just needing to learn. You're not there. You're over here with us. You're not that shit. They think they are. And I'm like, that's because you're around them. The fawn response and the belief that you are like that, they drill it into you to make you like them. In reality, you're just perpetuating their abuse. Alright, I gotta go. Bye.